Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap for Power. So, y'all, the title of this episode is Why is Tommy Still Alive? And that's what a lot of people's questions have been. And I'm just like, what do I keep telling y'all? Y'all gonna put some respect on his name one day. I don't know when y'all gonna do it, but y'all gonna learn. Anyway, so this episode started out with Ghost being asleep, and it's like in his mind, in his subconsciousness, he was having all of these fond, great memories of Angela. And eventually he woke up because his alarm went off. So then he went to go wash his face, brush his teeth, or whatever. So he came back from washing his face, and Angela is there. And she's talking to him, and, one thing came up that made me say, I told you so, to the people that are in the power group, which I forgot to mention because they already have a spoiler section for those of us who are up on it and watch it when it first airs on the app. But they had been trying to argue me and a few other people down about whether or not he was actually going to pull the trigger and cancel Christmas. And cancel Christmas on Angie. And I'm like, were we not watching the same show? Because I'm confused. Because had she been who he thought she was, he was going to kill her once she confirmed that. Because he was under the impression that she was the female witness who was going to testify against him, and that was not the case. So yeah. And even in that scene that just happened, she, was like, you thought that I was the one, and, it turns out she wasn't. And I'm just like, look. And she read, it's like, how you getting read by somebody who was no longer among the living? Angie read him and basically was like, you are the problem. You are the one who keeps getting into your own way. And eventually she did ask, why was Tommy still alive? And I'm guessing that's the reason why they are having that as the title of this episode. So, while he was in the middle of having these moments, thinking that he was talking to Angela and trying to prove himself to her, Jason calls and was like, yeah, penalty and my payment is due, or at least the penalty is due. And, he tried to talk to him, and he was like, you got what you wanted, and he was like, yeah, but you weren't the one to deliver. So, yeah, you got to go ahead and come up with that penalty. Come on up off of that money right now. So, meanwhile, Tommy met up with his folks, his people, his soldiers, and they were talking, and they got into a betting match. And his phone was going off like crazy. So they were like, how much you want to bet is his mama? And then the other people were like, no, how much you want to bet is his girlfriend? So it was like this one guy who bet that it was Keisha. Everybody else bet that it was his mama. So when he answered the phone and he was talking, or he answered the text, he saw that it was indeed Keisha. So he was like, I told y'all. And then he was like, but she was talking about my mama. Because apparently his mama is at, his place and all this other stuff. So he had to go and see what was up with all of that. So Sax is at his office talking to Proctor's ex-wife. And he's looking at the info that he's been gathering from that unicorn keychain, and nothing's on it except evidence that would really incriminate her. And I'm like, girl, you done went off on the child. The child is tired of you, and she called you all out your name and some more. Like, Lisa Marie done got tired already, and y'all just started this custody agreement. And I'm just like, Lord, this don't make no sense. So, as usual, Saxton got to the point where he's like, yeah, you're going to do this, and you're going to have to come up with something, because if you don't, I'm going to find a way to make sure you never have custody of your child. And I'm like, people love trying me on that power, in that power group, talking about how, oh, they're going to do this, he's going to do that. No, every time Sax gets involved with anybody, whether it's supposed to be in an effort to help him and further his case, these other people go down for him. They end up dead, they end up in jail, and all the other stuff in between. But he ends up coming up smelling like a rose every single time. But I feel like somebody gonna catch him slipping one good time before the season ends and he gonna die and I'm gonna be here for it. Because Saxe has done the most. He been had it coming to him, so whatever. So yeah, he just sat up here and threatened to, use the evidence against her so she can't get full custody. So, I'm like, yeah, you dumb anyway. You shouldn't have thought he was here for you. So Proctor went to go see James. And for some reason, Dre was with him, and Ghost decided that he was going to roll up and try to act like he all big and bad, and he done choked him up against the wall, and he had one of those, like, pens that you got to dip the ink into up, like he was going to carve him up with it. Like, you could tell he's angry, and I'm just like, sir, you're a shooter. You're not really a fighter like that. Like, not on the level that you're trying to make it seem like you are with all this hostility, so I'm going to need for you to stop. So y'all, I laughed that whole scene because I could not, like, you ain't really been doing what you need to do. You ain't been pulling your weight, sir. You over here trying to threaten people, and almost everybody as of late that you've been trying to kill, everybody been coming up right alive. So I'm just like, why everybody alive? It would not surprise me. I keep telling y'all, if Terry Silver come up out of nowhere and he alive. I don't know. We ain't seen nobody, so whatever. But he done went off, and so he was like, no, I'm here because everything that was going on with that case with the feds. Oh, excuse me, Alicia's dead now, so, I ain't really trying to talk like that, and they got my daughter. Because he was like, why are you here? I don't understand why you here. I don't believe nothing you saying. Well, she shouldn't, because Dre is forever going to be a snake in the grass. I don't care what nobody say. So he's sitting up here, and he was like, well, Proctor, you need to make sure that checks out, because he's trying to make it seem like the reason why he's coming to him with information about what Saxe has been up to is because his daughter, he doesn't have his daughter right now, and until he can come up with information to prove, information against him and all that good stuff, then they won't come up off of him. So, he was like, you need to follow him, you need to do all this, whatever. So he basically trying to keep Dre close to see, kind of keep an eye on him, but at the same time, he got Proctor looking into some things to see if he's actually being honest about that, because he be doing the most. Y'all, this dude rolled up in Tasha's daycare. The daycare is not where it needs to be at the moment, but it will be very, 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 very shortly. So this dude rolled up, and I'm trying to remember where I know him from. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before, and hopefully it's not on this show. So, I mean, at first glance, despite the fact that he fine, like he is fine. His teeth are amazing. Like, who clean your teeth? Like, I'm just here for it all. Anyway, his body's nice, everything. So she's having a moment, and you could tell they have an instant connection, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, is this a setup or what? Or does he genuinely like her, or it just so happens to be a situation where they both have chemistry, but he is there kind of to dig around and keep an eye on her and whatever she might be up to because of her wanting this business? Because it might very well be a situation where Rashad Tate has sent somebody else over there to keep an eye on her, while he has eyes on her husband. So, I don't know, but I'm going to see what's going on there. But they have obvious chemistry. And, I mean, I'm here for it, but at the same time, ain't nobody got time for Ghost to sit up there and try to choke somebody else out and do the most. So, anyway, he apparently has a child. He is a single father. The mother is supposedly like the song Olivia. Olivia the slave got distracted on her way to grandmother's house. Along came a lamb in wolf's clothing, and changed her mind and all this other stuff. Y'all, that song is Everything by the Whispers. Y'all better get into that. But yeah, she sound like she is lost to the streets because she cared about the drugs more than the child. The child's name is Sky. His name is Quentin, just in case I didn't say it earlier. But dude, it's fine. It don't make no sense. But since she doesn't have sign-up sheets or anything yet, she had him a piece of paper and a pen, and he put his information down and all that good stuff. And like, he's kind of like flirting even then. I'm like, all right, y'all doing a little bit too much. So anyway, while she was in the middle of talking to him, she gets a phone call from somebody at the bank stating that they needed her to come in because her signature was signed St. Patrick on the paperwork, and if, that's the case, then they needed her to come in and put what she has been saying she really wants it to be, which is her maiden name, and that's Green. And so he was like, what are you talking about? So apparently Raina's trust is being dissolved. Now, how that's happening is because Ghost went in and said, "Oh, my wife signed this paperwork at the house," and of course, his signature was already attached. So she was like, "I was never there. I never came in and did that." And so that's why that panned out to go the way that Ghost thought it was gonna go. So since he was dumb enough and didn't pay attention to those details, Tasha knows that that's one reason why he's able to get some money, is because he's dissolving that. Despite the fact that he's the one who put the money in it and all that, you're wrong. Like, I was just like, sir. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of that money, if not all of it, is probably going to Jason, because he needs $100,000 every 2 weeks. And he just had to pay that penalty as well. So, yeah. But yeah, she is very furious, and she is going to straighten that out. Anyway, Ghost ended up going to see Jason, but some of his goons were there, so he ended up giving them the penalty plus the payment and all that. And so he was talking to them and was like, y'all need to just go on ahead and do what y'all need to do to not have Tommy in the picture, because this is ridiculous. And so I don't even really want to get into that, like, because they was doing the most when it came to that part, because you could tell, like, there was some racism going on a little bit, because they called Tommy the Irish guy, and they called him the black guy, and I don't know, it just seemed like one of them dudes was just not here for it, and he was like, "You pay or you die. You pay or you die." Like, I hear what you saying, but you pay or you die. So I was like, Lord, Jason, why you wasn't even there? But anyway, so shortly after that, Ghost rolled all the way up on Rashad Tate and was like, "Look, I need for you to shut down the block." And I was already pretty sure before I saw it that it had something to do with an area where Tommy's business is located, and, shut it down so that it can kind of hinder his business, so that he could flush him out in some way. I'm pretty sure he knew he was going to be able to flush him out in some way. So he was like, "Look, I don't know what you're planning, but you need to promise me it's not going to be something that's going to blow back on me." So, he was like, whatever. So Tariq is at school, and he gets a text from Vincent. Now, Vincent is that guy who we saw last season a whole lot, when Tommy and Kanan would go to this, I guess it was a restaurant or something, and they would like go and sit at this table. That guy went, and he actually sent a text message, and he was saying that he needed more products or something like that, or inventory. And so he ended up going to Tommy's warehouse and stealing as much as he could get his hands on these bottle of pills, which I said before, I didn't understand why he didn't just walk up on him. Sorry, I was interrupted. But anyway, like I was saying, I never understood why Tariq could never go to his uncle and be like, so I have a good hustle at the school, and, it's in a safe environment. I don't have to worry about anything. So let me get these pills up off you, and I can move them. And he either could charge him a very small percentage or for free, because it's not like he's asking to use half of the facility. Like, I don't understand. But anyway, he went and snuck into the warehouse and got as much as he could before some of Tommy's soldiers came back. And he almost got caught, but he was able to sneak in and he was able to sneak out. So I'm just like, why was it so easy for them to get in there? Like, that was ridiculous to me. Like, he just opened the window, got in like it was nothing. Like, Tommy, I'm going to need for you to step that part of your operation up. You need to get surveillance cameras. Like, this don't make no sense. He shouldn't have been able to get in there without you seeing him on the surveillance tape doing the most, and then you roll up on him and be like, "Why was you in my warehouse roaming around?" Like, this ain't make no sense. Anyway, y'all, so Ramona Garrity, I'm trying to remember her actual last name. She was sitting up at the campaign headquarters when Tasha walked in, furious, requesting to see him and all that. And, she went off. She was like, that's like, this ain't cool for him to be doing what he doing and all this, talking about Ghost. And she was like, I know he put him up to it, all this other stuff. So Ramona gonna try to put her input and tell me, I know this must be hard, but you might need to just let it go as far as everything with James is concerned. And I'm just like, girl, she was like, look, you ain't got no kids. So for you to leave and supposedly not have a dime to your name and all this other stuff, I left with nothing. Okay, you didn't have any kids to worry about. So she was like, I had 3 kids. I still have 2 left. So I have their futures to worry about. So thank you for the business that we agreed upon as far as my business is concerned. But yeah, I need to talk to him regarding what I said. Because y'all ain't finna sit up here and keep using me and making me look crazy out here in these streets. And he trying me. And I'm not even trying to be with him no more. But y'all want me to sit up here and put up this front. Ain't nobody got time. Like, y'all is really wanting too much. No. So, Ghost was outside posted up as I expected him to be. I was just like, bruh. Posted up trying to see, if Tommy's going to make a move, because one of his people came in and was like, they said it's a gas leak on the street, on the block, and we can't leave. So they were like, look, we stuck. We can't move. We can't leave. We can't nothing coming in, nothing going out. So, of course, Tommy turned to his usual standby, which was an ambulance. So they were able to let them in. Y'all, Ghost did the most. So he saw them. And he saw Tommy driving the ambulance, right? So he got mad. He ran back to his truck, started driving like he put the pedal to the metal. So he was driving like, what is this fool finna do? He done rammed the ambulance. Then he proceeds to get out of the truck, shoot at Tommy. Didn't hit nobody in the car. Nobody was hit at all in the ambulance. So Tommy's trying to get out. He finally is able to get unwedged and unhinged from everything. He was able to leave. And Tommy said, F you, Ghost. So he's trying to leave. His truck won't even crank up. I'm like, you'd have told the engine to start and everything up on your truck, and now you can't even chase after Tommy. So you sitting up here trying to kill him, and it didn't work. You doing the most. So I was just like, Lord. So with all this happening, they have police units who have now surrounded him. And then instead of taking him into the police station, they take him to his own business, to his office. So he's like, why are you taking me to my office? He turned around, Tate sitting in his chair in his office. He was like, what are you doing here? So he was like, you must know I have eyes and ears everywhere. Man, I'm sorry. Rashad gonna get killed for it's all said and done. And Ghost gonna have it looking like this is just a tragedy in the community. I can just see it happening now. I can see it happening right now. He get on my nerves. But he over here talking about I have eyes and ears everywhere. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, stop. So, y'all, he just doing the most. And so it just got to a point where Ghost told him to get out of his office and to stay out of his way. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't got tired of Rashad. He been irking my soul. But yeah, Angie appeared after that happened. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, so is this going to be a situation like Pose where Candy appears all the time? Is that what we're doing? Oh, okay. And so, she was talking to him and she was like, again, this is just a situation where you're always in your own way and you tried to kill Tommy and it didn't work. And so he was just like, I'm sorry, I tried to kill him, but I couldn't get to him. And she kind of made it seem like, well, who said you had to kill him? Like, I don't know. It's just, he just be looking like, what is going on? Y'all, I'm tired. So, old boy, Quentin rolled up on Tasha again. And they looked like they was about to screw. And she stopped him. And he actually was like, I really want to actually take you out somewhere. So she was like, you want to take me out on a real date? So he was like, yeah. So, oh gosh, y'all. So anyway, Proctor found out that everything checks out when it comes to the information that Dre was telling them. And a situation happened, y'all. I am tired. I called it all real. I was like, what? So he said something. It was a Wu-Tang reference. Whether they want to believe it's a Wu-Tang reference or not, I took it as a Wu-Tang reference because Proctor said something about him being he said something about a dirty bastard. I said no. But something was said before that, y'all. Y'all tell me down in the comment section. But I hollered, like I had to make sure I remember that part. But yeah, it was a Wu-Tang reference, and I was here for it. He said something about Wu-Tang or something like that, and I was like, "What? Y'all really gonna bring that up?" I got my life. So anyway, um, Sax being dumb, he had already met up with Dre and said whatever he was gonna say to him. So then he left from talking to Dre, and of course, he was wired because of everything that Ghost told him because he don't believe him. So he left the office and left Dre. So he thought, and he went to see the actual witness at her house. And I'm like, why you wanted a woman apartment like that? So Dre, being the snake that he is, he following and he feed information to Ghost. And Proctor, and then Proctor's going to eventually tell him because he was like, I got the address, and I'm like, Lord, why? So anyway, Jason popped up at the club, and Dre was in the background. Like, Dre is everywhere, y'all. I'm tired. Dre popped up, and he was looking around, looking down there at their exchange, and Jason was like, you need to follow through with your instincts and kill Tommy and just become the new distro. And so he makes a point to tell him, I'm done with that life. I'm not trying to do that. I do not want any parts of that. So no. So yeah. Ghost, actually, after that meeting, he went to his office to retrieve his gun and an envelope from his locked safe. And so he told Dre to come with him. So what he did was he went to the witness's house and he did what he usually do when he about to kill somebody. He put them gloves on, and I was like, really, bro? You finna kill this woman? The woman was petrified. I mean, they had a whole setup. Dre was acting like he was somebody who was maintenance that was gonna come and fix something because water was dripping down into her apartment, and then she let him in, and then he came in, and so she realized it was him, and so she's backing up and crying. And so eventually what happens is he gave her an envelope full of money and told her that she has a second chance and that she can either stay there or she can leave. Whichever she decides to do is fine. But, he can't change the past, but he just wants her to live and not feel like she has to do anything. And this is all in an effort so she doesn't testify. He's trying to let her know, I am not going to do anything to you. Just leave, stay, do whatever you want to do, but I'm not going to do anything to you. I'm not going to kill you. You don't have to worry about that. So all while this is going on, Dre has texted them and let them know that they are at the house and that, and so he was like, okay, I'm sending units. So then when he realizes he ain't killing them, he was like, hold back. He's not, he didn't kill the witness. So they leave, and as soon as they leave, FBI swarms in, and this is all in the rearview mirror. For some reason, Ghost didn't see all that, but Dre keep looking at his mirror like, and I'm like, really? You a lie. This is not realistic because I look at all my mirrors all the time, and random stuff can pop up out of nowhere. Like, you need to be aware of your surroundings, and he just looking straight forward. And I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way, unless he just trying to play it off for the moment. Somehow he didn't see all the FBI agents looking crazy. They done went in, they done bust in, ain't nobody there, so they mad. Like, the most is happening. I'm just like, this is stupid. So Sax ended up calling Dre after I guess he got back to the club, and he was like, this don't make no sense. I had all those FBI agents to come in there, and they are mad. I got these people jumping down my throat because of you. Nobody was there, nothing happened. And so he was like, look, I don't know why. I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, he didn't kill her and he gave her some money. So he was like, what? Money? Oh, okay. That could be extortion or whatever he said, bribery, extortion, whatever it was. And, he's trying to understand why money was given, why he didn't kill her. So Keisha is at Tommy's house with his mama, and Cash came in, and apparently he had like a busted lip, and she trying to figure out what's going on with him. He wasn't talking first. Come to find out, since they're over at Tommy's at an unfamiliar location, the kids around the block beat him up and took his book bag. So she done went off. She was like, oh no, what you not finna do is this. And so his mama tried to stop her, and she was like, no. If this was Tommy at this age, what would you do? Because she said she was finna go beat some behinds. And that's what she said that she would do too. And so his mama, see that she a real one. She really care about her child. So she does like that aspect of her. So I was like, Lord. Tommy then popped up on Tariq and confronted him about the drugs, and he lied, talking about there was some stuff left over from Canaan when he was at one of his flop houses. And I'm just like, you stay lying somewhere. So he actually gave him a lecture and told him that he's at this nice school and he's doing well and that he ain't got to do that stuff no more. Gave him a hug and all this other stuff. And he gonna lie, promising that he ain't gonna do it no more. And I'm just like, ugh. So he took the product back and went on by his business. Y'all, Ghost rolled up on Tasha at her daycare and went all the way off because everything backfired on him. She actually took all the money that was supposed to be, what's the word start with a D? I don't know why. Dissolved. And she took it. So he mad, and she was just like, that was my daughter too. And apparently I mean something because I had to be the one who had to sign as well. And he was talking about, you didn't give me the money back. Y'all, the most was going on. So Quentin showed up, was like, hey, Tosh, everything looking good up in here. And so Ghost immediately, that's sunken in. Man, that's sunken in. Cheeks be killing me. Especially when he mad. Like, you really can see it. He be tearing my nerves up. So he looking at him how he was looking at Terry Silver. I'm like, dang, can't nobody have a life but you. Can't nobody screw and do everything under the sun but you. So she was like, let me show you the sign. So she took him outside and she looked in at him and then kept on, doing what she was doing. He even looked in at him like, I wish you would try me. So I was like, oh my gosh, he looked like he finna kill this man. Ain't nobody got time. He doing the most. So Tommy's mama is still at his house and she made what is supposed to be his favorite meal. So she was talking to him and was like, look, I really like Keisha and all, but I don't think she's the one. So he looked like, what you talking about? She ain't the one. So her point as to why Keisha is not the one is because she has a child and her child will always come first. And that's why she liked Holly, because Holly didn't have no kids. And I'm like, okay, girl, I get your point, but at the same time, calm down. She ain't made for a whole lot of reasons that you ain't seeing because you really are deep behind the scenes. But yeah, that's beside the point. But yeah, he ain't here for it. He got tired of it. And she was like, I was right about this. I was right about that. I was right about your dad. So it got to a point. He was like, you know what? You weren't right about Teresi. You ain't right about Keisha. He told her to get out, cussed her out, threw her out, and some more. He did the most. I said, oh gosh. So Tariq went to see Vincent. And Vincent was tired in his spirit because he felt like he'd been played. And then they took his wallet and saw that he is Ghost's son. And, despite his better judgment, he still wants to have a relationship with him because he feels as though he'll be able to milk Tariq. And so while the getting is good, he's going to keep dealing with him, and because he has such a delicate relationship with Tommy and with Ghost. So until he feels the need to cut him off and cut him up or whatever, he's going to keep him around. So he told him he needs to come back with twice the weight tomorrow and they can continue their business. And I was just like, okay, y'all doing a lot. So he said he just plans to control Tariq. I don't know how that's going to happen, but he said that out of his own mouth that he plans to control him. Y'all, Proctor was at his ex-wife's house and, they had that custody agreement. He said she was supposed to be there at 11 and she said that she's early. She's supposed to be there at 12. So they end up letting them in the house and the daughter goes on by her business because they start talking. And so in my mind, I'm just like, okay, Proctor, you're doing a little bit too much. So she's looking at an envelope. One of the things that she did get in the mail. And I was like, ooh, wait a minute. Because I've seen that before. It was an envelope from the examiner's office. I've had to take licensure examinations before, so you could tell that she had fear and she had excitement on her face, but more so fear. So when I saw that, I was like, oh gosh, because I've been there. And it is a lot. So yeah, she's talking to him, and then while she's talking to him, she opens it and she sees that she did not pass the bar. So he, in turn, is still talking to her, and so he's setting up bait traps all throughout the conversation, and she starts to say that, everything's going good with you and things are going good with me. I've moved on, you've moved on. And he's trying to make it seem like he's dating somebody at his job, the secretary or whoever, and that he really likes her and he's thinking about taking it to the next level. He done bust out with an engagement ring. And he was talking about something, I know it's kind of early, but I think that she'll like it. And then he going by his business. Like, he really done set the trap. And immediately, I was like, oh no, this heifer finna relapse like right now. Soon as he closed the door, I'm telling you, literally 60 seconds had not passed before she had torn the house apart, found a baggie, like a little bitty baggie, that had residue from the last time she done drugs, and she stuck her pinky in it and put it all doing all like this just to get a taste of it, and ended up texting her plug and was like, I need you to deliver some drugs to me like right now. I was just like, girl, you just don't care. You just do not care about your child. I can't. So Tariq and Effie are hanging out and they talking and having a moment, and she sees him like having like a little, not black eye, but you said he got roughed up a little bit. And so she was like, are you sure you don't need any ice? And so he was like, no, I'm good. I handled the situation. So eventually they start making out a little bit, and I'm like, okay. So yeah, now the daycare is open. And old dude Quentin showed up again. He actually brought the child this time, and she was like, can I talk to you in the back? So they went to the back to talk, and so she was like, I can tell, you like me, I like you, but I don't think we need to do this. And, he was like, well, I understand the situation. I know that that's the ex. I can handle him. You ain't got to worry about that. And she tried to tell him like, nah, you can't handle that because, what we're supposed to believe, Silva is dead. So Ghost gets mad. He gets to trying to kill everybody. So he was just like, look, I'm here. I'm here for it. Like, whatever he's trying to do, I can handle it. So she was like, I can't. I'm not going to be in it. And so she walked out. So I don't know if he's going to be able to persuade her to stay in it or not, but I don't know. And like I said earlier, I don't know if this is a setup on behalf of Rashad Tate or whatever, but all directions is just not going to end up in a good, it's not going to be at a good space. So I don't know. I mean, and I want her to have happiness, but as long as Ghost is alive and doing the most, she ain't going to be able to be with nobody and be happy. No. So Proctor went over to his ex's house. I don't know when. Oh, the daughter, Lisa Marie, ended up calling, texting, or whatever. And so she is like mortified. And so he's like, oh, baby, it's going to be okay. It's okay. The mama is like in a corner, pacing back and forth, reciting all these things that you have to learn whenever you're trying to pass the bar. Like, she is like really deep off into it. You could tell this heifer is on something. And so he's trying to talk to her. She started breaking down. Then she said she hurting. Then she told him to call 911. And so then he was just like, well, you know what that will do if I call 911. And so she was like, I'm in pain. I need some water. I need something. And like, she really wants him to call 911 because she finna die. So this happened to OD. I'm pretty sure she's dead. And if she's not, I'd be shocked. But anyway, he actually put 9 and 1 in there and was about to call and put the 1 in. But then he was like, you're not going to take my daughter away from me. Soon as he said that, they're going to pan over to the unicorn. I'm like, of all days for that mug to be downstairs. Of all days. Really? Really? So that's on tape. That's recorded or whatever. And he didn't call 911. And I mean, they panned over there later on. This stuff is just there laid out. Like, if she ain't dead, then I don't know how. I'm just like, oh my gosh, no. So, Tommy and Keisha were in bed, and after, you could tell they've obviously had a moment. They were open up about how things are good and how they are. And he was like, you told me you were going to be my ride or die. And, you told me that. Like, yeah. So he was like, I wish I had have known earlier, but I finally come to realize that the only things that I've ever needed are right here, and that's you and Cash. So they had a moment, and I'm just like, sir, she ain't made for none of this. So the last thing that happened was Ghost was having a moment with Angela again, and he was just like, I wasn't the man that I should have been to you, and I apologize. And he confessed about killing Terry Silver because she did approach him about that before. And now he admits that he should have walked away that day when he saw her in the club, but he didn't. And now he cannot keep holding on to the anger that he's harboring, and he has to let stuff go. Everything, meaning how he feels about her, let her go. Everything that he feels towards Tommy, he got to let that beef go. Like, he got to let all that go because he doesn't want anybody else to die. So he thinks that he has changed because he didn't kill old girl. And so she was like, but you will. And I'm looking like, girl, no. Y'all, but that was the end of the episode. It was a lot. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this recap. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all later on. Bye.